Hello and welcome back to Games Over Explained. Today we are going to be playing Going Medieval again, picking back up where we left off on our last episode. If you have not seen that, I am going to drop a link in the description, so you should be able to go there and check it out. In the first episode, we pretty much started just laying down some of our foundations. So today I want to move through and kind of start addressing some other issues that we created during the first go here. The primary issue that we left off with is some of these collapse issues. As you can see down here, we do have a couple of panels that have collapsed, so we are going to try and get to those today. We are also going to work on getting this guy finished here and try to resolve our food issues, which actually just resolved here a little bit, but I'd like to get that number up. 9 isn't a lot for 3 of these guys, so we are going to do our best to try and build that up a little more. While we're getting started here, I want to go ahead and get dug into this issue. There's autosave, and see what we can do about fixing these collapse issues. On the previous episode, I showed you guys some of the research that we were doing with the wooden beams, so we're actually going to use those now, and you can see how they are working. So I'm actually just going to drop a wooden beam here, and then the settlers should have an opportunity to get up here and start building those. Once they're awake, of course, they're kind of just sleeping right now. In the meantime, the other thing I want to actually start doing, we need them to finish this first, but I also want to get a quarry started. So while they're working on that, let's start scoping out an area for some cobblestone, or limestone rather, and I'm not playing Minecraft. Let's see. Scoping this out, and we should be able to find some. It's a good little area here. It looks like there's a good source of limestone over here, so maybe this will be where we site our quarry. It's already kind of dug out a little bit, and maybe if we're lucky there's more underneath this dirt. If not, we do see a vein here that we can dig out of, and I don't think it's too terribly far from camp. No, not too bad at all. So we'll get started on that here in just a minute. I do want to make sure that they get this built here. All right, good, it's done. So zoom back down here underneath and take a look at what we got going on. So what I was going to show you guys is these wooden beams help with stability, which is something I didn't really go too much into in the first episode, so we're going to go into it now. The stability allows us to basically build up to a certain point. The reason these guys collapsed is they reached stability 0. The maximum that you can go in either direction is 3 from a stable base point. So what we're actually going to do is we're just going to take this wooden wall here, and we're going to drop it down on top of this guy and drop that one there. That should, once they build it, resolve our issue, and then we can drop our wooden floor panel and get on with our day. And there goes that Albert down there trying to build, maybe? Or maybe he's collecting food. Oh yeah, they're moving stuff from the storehouse here, where our storehouse used to be, and they're dropping it in there. Once he's done with that, we're just going to drop a wooden floor on here, and that should take care of that issue. Oh, I missed a corner here when we were playing last time, so let's drop that in as well. Once they're done doing that, we'll get started on the quarry, because I do want to start getting some limestone built up. And the food issues should automatically start resolving themselves. I'm getting a little disoriented here. Once this cabbage starts coming in, how long do we have left? Maximum yield, 2 days. Okay, so we got a little bit of time. Hopefully the food that we have will get them through the next couple days. I know I said that last episode, but we're going to be even more optimistic this time and hope for the best. So while he's... Oh, they collapsed again. What happened? Oh, no, they didn't. Whoops. I'm seeing things. No, they built the platform here. So we are good to go on that front. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're just going to run some wooden beams through this top level. Like I said, you can go 3 in either direction, so we're actually going to do 1 here, 1 here, and then 1 right there in the middle. And that should get us enough clearance to start building a floor here. I do want to make this too tall, and we'll go from there. Of course, we're out of wood again, and our trees aren't quite ready, so we're gonna have them go ahead and harvest. We're gonna put this on fast forward mode for a minute and let them get to work on that. In the meantime, looks like we're still researching some books. And what we really want to get to, I believe I had said I wanted to get to shelving first, but I think the first thing I really want to focus on actually is getting the furniture done. That will get us the comfortable beds, and then we're going to focus on cartography after that. Cartography will let us get the region map unlocked, and that is going to let us start doing trading. And I think we have a pretty good source for trading materials here. We can start mining iron and shipping that off. Cool. Looks like these guys are done. So I'm just gonna take this wooden floor here, and we're going to run it out in either direction here. Oh, what's the smart way to do this so it doesn't get screwed up? There we go. All right. So they're gonna start slamming that floor down. And I just realized that I actually need a space for stairs to go up. And that's okay. We will get that addressed. Let's see, these guys are 1, 2, 3 across. So I'm thinking that we would do 1, 2, 3 that way. Press R to rotate and bring it out. Path blocked by wooden floor. Ah, yes. That's what I was afraid of. So we're actually just going to run through here and cancel these guys. And that should free up enough space for our wooden stairs. There we go. All right, and that clears it. And then we should be able to actually place this one back here. So we're going to do that. And let them do their thing. It's going to take quite a bit of wood, so this project might take them a little longer than anticipated, and that's all right. We could just start cutting down some of these guys. And then we've got some berries available, so I'm actually going to have them go ahead and harvest those as well. Of course, they've got berries just sitting here. They've got too much to do. All right, so I let them go ahead and go to sleep and just kind of simmed through that. That way you guys don't have to watch that portion of it. And we will let them kind of work on some of this stuff here. And I will actually get back with you again in just a moment. All right, so it looks like they have completed this task. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're actually gonna go ahead and start building up a little bit. And of course, it's gonna start raining. So let's drop our walls here. I'm going to raise this up a bit just so I can see. Ooh, autosave. And then we're going to run these guys across like that. And we're going to do the exact same thing we did below. Once these are built, I'm going to run some more beams on it. And we will go from there on the roof design itself. And they are becoming annoyed. I need to take a look at that real quick. Deprived of entertainment, deprived of religious activities. All right. Well, we are going to have to build them some sort of shrine or chapel here. So let's go ahead and take a look at that so we can start planning the religious affiliation. We have a zealot, restitutionist zealot, devout oak brethren, and practicing oak. Okay, so we are going to have both, which is fine. We can build that. I do want to clear that as well. We'll probably hold off on building any churches right now. And in the meantime, we should be able to start building some paths between these guys. Of course, I put the campfire right there in front of the right there in front of the door. I'm actually going to hold off on paths. I know I just said I was going to, but I think actually I'd like these to be cobblestone, or I keep saying cobblestone, limestone, and that should actually look a little cleaner. I think so anyway. We'll find out once we get the resources. Let them knock this out. All right, so they almost finished this, but we do have some food coming in, so I do need them to get that going as we continue to build up our stew collection. So it might take a little bit for them to sort that out, but that's all right. Clear these trees here as well and get some of these out of our direct sight area here. Eventually we'll replant some trees and make them look real pretty. But right now, the thing we need to focus on is just getting function over form. And once we are a little further along, we'll start doing some more beautifying of the area and make it look a little more like a proper town. But I think if you were to go back and look at original settlements in different areas, they would look quite simple and kind of haphazardly strewn together. So I kind of like the realism of that. And let's see what research we have available. Brewing and furniture. Excellent. So we can go ahead and unlock furniture. And that will get us the beds and go back in here. It gets us beds, a couple of different types of chairs, a bookshelf, weapons rack, and another type of bookshelf. One for the wall and one for the floor. And so the next thing, like I said, we're going to be doing cartography. We have 0 chronicles available, so I am going to have to put in an order. I should have looked at that. That says 30. So we're going to do a quick order of 30 of these guys. Oh, and trigger an autosave because it is midnight. And let that rock and roll for a minute. We do have ashes here. We probably need to go ahead and get a waste pile going somewhere. Preferably on the outskirts of town. So maybe we'll drop that over in this area just so it's not directly in the line of sight. The big thing with waste piles is they don't like seeing waste, or say maybe like a fruit goes bad, or sorry, I guess a vegetable in the game. There are negative mood modifiers for rotten vegetables or rotten meat. Ash, they don't really seem to mind too much, but they don't like seeing those kind of wastes or carcasses. And so we will be putting that stuff here. Even the reason I use the waste stockpile is that it comes kind of preloaded with these settings. You can customize any kind of waste pile or any kind of stockpile however you want to. But for our purposes, we just need it to be kind of the default waste stuff. So that should be pretty straightforward and simple. I'm gonna take a look here and just get a reference for how I set these up. This one here, one center. So let's just go up and we're going to grab these beams. We counted 1, 2, 3 in, so we could use that. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then one right in the center. And if we look here, you should see that we have plenty of stability across the board, except for right here in the center where it's 2, but that's still plenty. As long as you're not at 0, the structure is going to hold and it won't be an issue. So we really don't need to worry about that too terribly much. Now that we have this bottom floor built as well, something I would like to go ahead and do, if I remember correctly, this is all going to be treated as one room. So let's take a look at that. Well, this isn't a room yet, but I think it will be treated as one giant room. So what we really want to do first, before we really get settled here, is drop a wall in to separate these two. I think here is probably as good as any place. Actually, let's see. The stairs are over there, so I think the most logical place to put this would be here. And then we'll drop a door in, and that will... I put the door in sideways, so let's get that taken care of. Cancel. Come over here and grab this door. Drop it in place, and then let them knock those out. We do have... Oh, we are out of wood, actually. So let's see. Have they trimmed all these trees back that I told them to? They have. So we're going to have to do some more deforestation. And much like our ancestors, we will worry about that later and replant some trees. I mean, at least we already have some planted over here. So hopefully they'll come in pretty quick. Let's see. Yeah, maximum yield in 4 days. So we should be into summer by then, but that's okay. Should be plenty of time. This will separate out this room, and then my plan here is I actually want to drop in a couple backgammon tables. They don't really have any place to participate in leisure, and I think that is starting to really wear on our mood. Yeah, because they're only getting +4 for job satisfaction. They don't have super comfy beds yet, which we're saving that. I want to build them dedicated houses instead of this shared house because they get a better mood modifier for having their own individual houses. And maybe we'll go ahead and start those. They don't need to be luxurious right now. So we'll just do a basic 5x5 structure to start. And that should be plenty of room. Well, I say plenty of room. It's very economical housing, we'll put it that way. Because these are really, really tiny. Not that there's anything wrong with tiny houses, but I'm sure that they would probably prefer something a little bigger since they're so consumed with having individual beds. So we'll get this hammered out real quick. Drop these floors in. We're using tons and tons of wood. So I'm glad we planted those trees early on. Can I rotate this? I never seem to be able to figure out how to get doors to turn the way I want them to. I'd prefer if it opened from the right-hand side. I don't know about you guys, but I guess I'm right-hand dominant, so I always reach out to doors with my right hand, and when the handle's on the left, it kind of throws me. I don't know if anyone else feels the same way about that, but if you do, feel free to drop a comment, I guess, if you feel very strongly about left-handed doors or right-handed doors. Or if you don't care at all, I guess that's also an acceptable reason to drop a comment. I'm going to clear these mushrooms here. Mark these tall grass as well because they are ready to go. And we are going to need hay for our individual beds. I also need to throw a roof on these guys, so let's knock that out real quick. Just real simple housing. And then we can reuse this for something else since the structure's already there, or we could tear it down and reuse the resources, whichever really strikes our fancy. Right now, the priority is just getting these guys knocked out. Sinmund is getting smarter. We've got leisure on the way. I do really need this food brought in before the summer hits, because we're getting dangerously close to summer. Another thing that I neglected to mention is you don't have to leave these at 3. You can actually set these guys to just not ever work on something. So for instance, cooking, I don't really need Noda to ever work on cooking just because I have Ad Albert in charge. So I'm actually going to set both Noda and Sinmund to not cook. Let's go ahead and refine this while we're here. Cut plants. You'd be okay to keep cutting plants. I don't want you ever doing it. Get more important tasks like convalescing. Actually, Noda doesn't have a ton of tasks to do, so maybe it's not a bad idea to set her a little higher. It's too low. Let's see. Where are we at? It's kind of a balancing act right now. Just a little tired. That's okay. Maybe we can bump up your bedtimes. Maybe that makes sense. Let's see. Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Because they won't choose to go to bed, as far as I'm aware. You kind of have to set the time out and say, okay, time for you to go to bed. Let's see, we have 22 available, so we could do stone, clay, or wooden weaponry, but we really need that cartography. I think that's going to come in handy. I have not used that mechanic. That's part of the same patch that we saw on last week's episode with the trading outpost. So I am excited to see what that looks like. But we do have a lot of priorities right now to hustle on. Yep, and summer's here. So this is chance of heat waves. I do need to actually look and make sure. Yeah, everyone's wearing winter clothes, which is unfortunate because they are not going to enjoy how hot the summer's about to get. So we might end up switching their schedule around a little bit and making them nocturnal. We'll see how bad this gets first before we make that determination, but I have done that before where I basically make them sleep all day in the summer and then come out at night and work. It works pretty well. They don't seem to care too terribly much about being nocturnal. In the meantime, I'm going to let them actually finish these before I issue the next command. I don't want them to start moving resources over to the main building until they've gotten their houses built. But since the floors are mostly in, I'm going to go ahead and drop these new beds in as well. Make sure that it's facing the right way, and I'm going to put them up against the left wall. Very standard bunk housing. And I'm going to let this run for a second and let them get working on these houses, and I'll be right back with you, and hopefully we can survive this temper tantrum. Oh, he's hungry. Well, you have food, so go eat. Anyway, we're gonna let this sim for a minute, and I'll be right back with you. They have finished at least the buildings themselves, and I realized that I did not actually drop a bed in this third house here, so I'm gonna throw that in. Saying we're missing resources, sometimes that means they just haven't brought it over to us. We do have enough hay. We are out of wood again. So I'm going to have them kind of sweep some more wood, and hopefully they'll be able to get that knocked out pretty quickly. I'm really playing a dangerous game here with Albert. He is pretty happy with his job at least, but he's hungry. And I'm not entirely certain why he's not eating, because we do have lots and lots of stew and plenty of cabbage and some red currants if he wants those. We can also go ahead and harvest these guys, add that to the list of things to do. And that should give us a little extra food. Eventually these berry bushes here in the center of town are going to have to come out, which is a real shame. Sinmund is working on our backgammon table, which took up, I think, the majority of our wood, but it is a worthy investment so that they will stop complaining about not having anything to do in this town. I'm going to grab our cartography table as well. And I'm thinking that tailoring may not be a bad idea, simply because we are getting into the summer months. And there's going to be, as we get on in days, there's going to be more risk of heat waves. So we're going to grab 20 Chronicles here and let them get started on that. Then they just need to finish these beds, which I believe they've brought all the hay and we're just waiting on the wood. So that will take us some time. In the meantime, we're going to take a look over here. And what I'd really like to do is put in another set of stairs. And we're going to put these, let's see. I have an idea in my head of what I want to do, and I think that putting them here is going to be the best bet. But actually, I'm wondering if we should bring it back just a bit. No, I'm second guessing myself here. Let's do 3. And that should give us plenty of coverage for what I want to do. And we'll start dropping some floors in here. Might have to wait until they've got this built out. We'll find out in a moment. Maybe I'm just trying to place this too high. Nope, we're good. I'm going to be able to drop this here. So stairs up, 2, 3, that's 4, 5, 6. So then we have 4 across. I need 2 more like that. Can't build this far from a stable structure. Oh, right, because I have to build it a specific way so that they can build out the floor the way I want it. And we should be able to let them get that going. And ideally what I'd like to do is take a wall here, run it across. Let's see if it'll let me. Yep, okay. So it'll warn you if your stability isn't good enough. So let's run it like that for now. And that should be plenty of work for them to do. While we wait on that, let's see. Have you finished the beds yet? No. They just have so much to do. I keep adding more and more to their list. I'm sure they are very thankful for all the work. Times like this, you wish you had a 4th settler, but we determined that we weren't able to help poor Cerdic, so I guess he found his fortune or misfortune, whichever it is, out in the wilderness. So Albert is working on getting this guy built. So I had said that we're actually going to work on getting tailoring, but really we need brewing. So once we hit 15, I'm actually going to go ahead and do the brewing station. Brewing takes a while, but I learned in my last big playthrough that the earlier you get it, the better you're going to be. They tend to just not generally like not having something to drink. I guess it's probably because they only drink alcohol in this game and not water, which is true to times, I think, especially considering the game is themed to be post-Black Plague. I guess it makes sense that they just don't have access to clean water, so the only thing they're really going to be drinking is alcohol. So now they're in here playing backgammon. And I will kind of zip through this so you don't have to watch the nightly routine again. And I'll be back with you. All right, so while I was watching them build, we had a new event pop up. And it looks like his name is Oswald. It says, Oswald approached with his hand held out in a warm, open smile. Oswald was keen to learn more about Wythenshawe and only too willing to lend a hand. All he asked was a safe place to call home. So we have a couple options here. We can slam the door like we did on Port Surdic, or we can let him in. And it looks like he doesn't have any downsides in terms of having a raid happen or anything. He looks like he's very interested in melee and mining and construction and marksmanship, and he's quite intellectual, level 24, which is pretty good. So we're going to welcome Oswald into the town. We don't have enough beds, and that's only because our cheap housing over here isn't quite done yet because of our lack of wood. I have already set aside some more wood to be cut over here, and they've already kind of torn through that. So the first thing we're actually going to want to do is come up here and look at Oswald's schedule, which is currently not set. We're just going to apply the regular schedule to him. We don't have any weapons for him right now, but for the time being, let's see. Let's look what his skills actually say. 4 in melee, 3 in marksman. All right, I'm going to give him a melee because he's just going to excel at that. We're going to do a one-handed melee with a shield. He did come with a cap, which is nice. All apparel's already set. We're going to set all armor. Now let's do some job priority here. Where are we kind of lacking? Construction, for one. And he's very interested in that. So I'm going to take advantage of that and put him as our chief building guy. And then let's actually set that to 1. We're going to set convalesce to 1. And it should go left to right. So if they don't need convalescence, he'll move on to construction. Let's see, grow, he's got decent botany. We are not wanting for skills in botany, it seems. Mining is definitely going to be his number 2, because he's both interested and skilled in it. And then I also want him to do research. I think it actually is worth dropping Sinmund down to 2 and Oswald to 1. And then we're actually going to bump Noda up to hauling 1. Because I think we have resources sometimes. Like here, we have all these wood piles just sitting around. I think we could probably bump her up to 1 and she'll start prioritizing grabbing stuff and putting it in our storehouse. And speaking of which, I'd like to take a look at our storehouse and see what we're looking like in terms of usage. Pretty good right now. And so we have a sturdy longbow. I forgot about that, but I don't think we can use it too terribly much right now. We do have a simple healing kit, but I don't know if he's injured. Let's see. Oop, I clicked away. Nope. He's fragile health. Oh, good. So there was a downside. He's got fragile health, but that's all right. We can work around him. I am going to continue building this up a little bit, and what I want to do is just drop some Merlins up here. I think that using this as kind of a strategic archery spot where we can hole up in here until we have a wall built is not a terrible idea, and that will prevent it'll give some cover to them, when they're being fired upon in arrows. So the idea is that this will be just kind of like a watchtower area for us, kind of just open air. And truthfully, I regret building these walls because I actually think doing more Merlins would look nicer. So I think I'm going to go ahead and actually have them deconstruct these because I think it's probably worth... Whoa. Okay. We're going to do these individually because I don't want them taking down a whole chunk of the structure. So this, you can just click on these guys and press K button is the default keybind. And that's just the same as hitting the mass deconstruct without risking tearing up everything, which I would prefer to avoid personally. So let's see. Once they tear those up, we should be good to go. And he's sleeping down in the storehouse because we still have not finished our wooden beds, even though we have tons of wood. And these guys are getting older. Let's see, growing. Yep, so we'll be able to start harvesting the trees we planted last episode here before long. We're gonna let them do their thing this morning. And we do have 20 more books available since we, oh, sorry, we didn't unlock brewing yet. So we're going to do that. And that gives us a surplus of 5 books, which means we really only need probably 15 more. We do need to do shelves, actually. So I'm thinking maybe that's probably the next move. I mean, almost all of this stuff is extremely helpful in the early game, but I do think that a shelf would be nice. So let's go ahead and do that. We only need, I think, 15. So we'll come over here to our research table and have them do 15. And they'll get to it when they get to it. So here comes everybody off to do their stuff. There's Noda grabbing all the wood and stuff that we've left sitting out. Albert is over here doing research, even though it's not his strong suit, but that is okay. Hey guys, brief editor's note here. I got really indecisive about what I was going to do, so ultimately I decided the best course of action was to just change directions. I went ahead and just cut that bit out because it's kind of just me, him, and Han. So we're just going to cut straight to where I actually decide what I want to do. All right, back to the video. Like I said, I'm just going to drop a floor up here because I think that's probably smarter to do at this point than the way I was going to do it before. And then we can run Merlins along the entirety of the outside perimeter, and we have a really great line of sight, big defensible position, and it gives us a nice little start. So we'll let them knock that out. Oh, there is enough beds. Oh, this one is building can't be reached. How do you figure? I'm a little confused here. Seems like they can reach the building just fine. Well, that's interesting. The door seems to be fine. I guess we could try... Let me try grabbing one of these guys and having them prioritize. Who's our construction genius again? Was that Oswald? Yes, it was. Okay. Oswald, I would like you to come over here and finish. Skill level not met. So under construction, we have 15, 8, 5, 5. So maybe Noda is the one that needs to build it. Yeah, okay. Okay, ooh, crisis averted. So let's see if Noda's able to actually get in here. Yeah, no problem. I don't know why it said the building wasn't able to be reached. That's really strange. Anyway, so they're building these guys here. We're going to go ahead and run our Merlins across and just get these done. We are going to need a substantial amount of wood for all of this, but I think it'll be worth it when we can hole up during a raid and hide in here and try to beat them with arrows. If nothing else, we can hold them off for a bit, wear them out with arrows, and then we can get after them. So we need to find another source of wood quickly, because I am... Let's see, are all of these guys ready to be cut? Thereabouts. Well, we might as well go ahead and trim them down, because that will allow us to replant them anyway, and that's why they're there. So we do have some more... I said we have some more. Oh, they're transporting it, so we're not able to use it yet. That's all right. There goes that Albert. All right, I was gonna try and spare you guys the agony of watching them sit and build this this top layer here, but in the meantime, we did get an opportunity to trade. So I think this time we might go ahead and take up on that and just see what we can get for some of the things we're not using a bunch of right now. We've got tons of sticks, so I'd like to see if maybe we can trade for some beer or something. If nothing else, we can try and use the merchant system since we didn't get to do that last time. Of course, the merchant's gonna arrive while they're all asleep. So once they're woken up, we'll be able to test that. It'll probably take him some time to get over here anyway. Yeah, here he comes. He's a real slow walker. So let's give this a few minutes to catch back up. I don't want to interrupt any of their sleep because they get really grumpy if they don't have any sleep. And we will talk to the merchant as soon as it's daytime. Okay, so I'm going to pause for 2 seconds just to grab one of these guys because they are on super speed mode here. All right, so let's see what we can work with here. So it looks like we can sell sticks, base value 1 times 0.6. Okay. So we might be able to... They won't trade for ash. Dang, we have a plethora of it. Let's see what happens if we trade... let's see. Okay. So if we hold down control, it'll add 10. If I hold down shift, it will add 100. So let's do 10 this way, and then let's try and sell about 500. Is that correct? I'm shifting. Yeah, that's acquire, and that's proffer. Okay. So let's... Oh, I'm still holding control. Let's do that. Let's try 500 sticks and just see what that fetches us. 261 gold. And can we purchase rough wine from you? Yes, we can. We can get about 5 rough wine from him because that's all he has. He has 4 lavish meals and 13 herbs. So let's see if we can trade this and get a surplus of money. 500 sticks. Oh, maybe there's no money. Let's find out. Oh. I'm gonna trade him 50 sticks. Let's try and get this as close as possible. Then we're only losing about 0.4 gold. Is this how this works? 5 rough ale for 47 sticks. Yes. Okay. Cool. And then he throws our purchases right on the ground and everyone comes running to drink. Very interesting. Okay, cool. I like this trading mechanic. Like I said, sorry for the unfamiliarity. I haven't had an opportunity to try it out yet, but pretty cool to sit there and figure it out for ourselves. So that's pretty exciting. We're almost done with this construction here. We got some trees popping up close to camp, so I can designate these to be chopped at some point. We still have tons and tons of wood over there to chop down, which probably is where we got all these sticks from. I'm hoping once we get the cartography table, we'll be able to sell sticks more, since that seems to be our primary economy right now. But we'll find out once we get to that point. They've created a bedroom. Aha, so they finished one of these. So now it's time to tear down one of the sleeping spots. And eventually we'll try to do it next episode, build out another house for these guys. That way they all have their own dedicated quarters. I know that we had said we were going to get the quarry started. However, this episode's already running a little long, so I think I am going to end it here. We're in a much better place with our food. We have 323 cabbage ready to go, 25 stew on backlog. I believe this is set to... it is not. So I need to actually set this to produce forever, and they will just keep cooking that cabbage into actual meals, which are much, much better. So, like I said, we're going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you again for watching. Please do not forget to leave a like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.